everyone, and welcome to GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling podcast here on YouTube and Daily Motion at this point in time. And we are currently looking into a few other areas to broaden our horizon and broaden the audience at this moment. But for the time being, strictly video format and on YouTube and and Daily Motion websites. But this GodSaw's Turnbuckle, I'm still getting used to saying the name. I'm really still getting used to saying that name. But this one's going to focus around WWE Backlash 2017. And what can you really say about this pay-per-view? This was an interesting pay-per-view in the end. I will go off and say, for the most part, it was a rather good show. In the entire landscape of everything, they definitely went with some weird choices in the end, at least in my own personal opinion. But you had a couple of moments in there that were also really, really good to go along with it. So let's just get right into everything. We'll start with the pre-show match, which was Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. Not really much to say about this match. Ty Dillinger, crazy over in Chicago. 10 chants all over the place throughout the entire match. His entrance, everything in that sense. I liked Aiden English's stuff before the match as well to get a lot of crowd heat on it. The match itself was a rather decent one. I thought they put on a relatively good match here in the pre-show. It wasn't a very long match by any stretch of the imagination. But then again, most of the pre-show matches usually aren't that long to begin with. But Ty Dillinger going over with his new variation of the tiebreaker in the match. I won't say very memorable match. Nothing really memorable being seen throughout that entire match, but a rather decent match between the both of them, and a good way of just a good pre-show match, basically, in that sense. So this leads us into the main show. And this was an interesting one. And by interesting, it was interesting that they started off with the Dolph Ziggler-Shinsuke Nakamura match. You would have thought they would have saved that for later in the show. Even some people were kind of thinking that it would have been the main event of the show, considering how much hype was placed upon it. But no, they opened off the show with Shinsuke Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler. Obviously, Shinsuke, crazy over for his debut. Place singing a song, everything in that sense. The match itself, it was a good match. It was definitely a good match. Probably not what a lot of people were thought it could have been. Probably wasn't as good as what people thought it could have been, but it was still a good match between the two of them, and was also a very good debut. It kind of showed every variation of Shinsuke Nakamura, such as his unorthodox antics, like at the beginning, like the good vibrations, everything in that sense. His striking ability inside of the match as well. Also his selling ability to go along with everything, because he was selling for a good chunk of this match as well to Dolph Ziggler. So it came off as a rather good match, and a good way and a good debut for Shinsuke Nakamura. It wasn't like the debut he had with Sami Zayn last year at NXT TakeOver, but it still came off as a really good match in the end. It just kind of, now you just kind of think, is like, do they continue on with this? Do they not continue on with this? I really doubt they should really continue on with Dolph Ziggler and Shinsuke Nakamura, but who does Shinsuke fight next, basically, at this point in time? It's kind of interesting to see where they could be potentially going with Shinsuke Nakamura and the matches that he's going to have down the road, feuds as well that he'd be having down the road to go along with everything. Will he be having a full-on feud? Will he be just doing matches here and there for a little while before they come up with his next potential feud? Between that time, we'll see where they go with everything. I don't think they'll continue on with this him and Dolph Ziggler thing, though, down the road here. So up next was the tag team title match with Breezango and the Usos. And I'm not going to lie to you on this one. This was a comedy match. But this was comedy match done right. This was comedy match done right, gold with what Breezango was doing. He was still doing the undercover bit that he was doing from his Fashion Files the Fashion Files episodes before. He even comes out in the entrance with like a mop bucket and a mop for his janitor's outfit. And you got some good comedy spots in here, including afterwards when he tags out to Fandango, he gets knocked off the apron, and then when he comes back, he comes disguised as an old lady. It was good. It was just good stuff. They did your typical spots that what they were going with. The commentary team was even playing up with it as well. I thought it just came off as a really, it came off as an entertaining match from the beginning to end. Like I said, it was comedy done right. In this sense, it was a comedy match. It wasn't by any stretch of the imagination a very serious match, but it was done right, done well, and rather enjoyable. Now this kind of leads it to believe, where are they going to be going next? Are they going to be bringing? Are they going to keep them in that tag title situation, or are they gonna? Sorry, I have to clear my throat right now. Kind of got something weird with my throat going on. Are they gonna keep Breezango in that tag title area, or are they gonna immediately bring the New Day in? Because apparently the New Day is about to debut on the main, not on the main roster, but on SmackDown here soon. Are they gonna Are they gonna, propel them up to the tag titles right away, or are they going to give them some time before that happens? We'll see where they go with everything. I thought this match was rather enjoyable, though. Oh, yeah, and it also has to be said because it was just a funny moment. You had, when they finally got rid of the whole disguise thing and the whole undercover thing, like I said, even the commentators were playing along with it. When the Usos got the dress off of Tyler Breeze, he throws it out of the ring and he hits JBL square in the face. It was great. It was just great. So this leads to the next match, which was Sami Zayn going up against Baron Corbin. And again, this was a good match. This was a good match between both of them. Still Sami Zayn kind of playing up the underdog side of everything, getting beaten down throughout most of the match. Kind of what you see a lot of the times with Sami Zayn matches right now. But it was an interesting one. I thought, personally, when I went into watching this show, I thought that they would probably focus and keep Baron Corbin strong here, and they would, have Sami Zayn eat the defeat in this one. But they decided to go the other way with it. Sami Zayn, like I said, gets beaten down throughout most of the match. Like he typically does, he's one of the better sellers in the company, so they kind of play off of that one a lot. But they have him go over in the end by kind of catching Baron Corbin out of nowhere with a haluva kick, and it just came off as a pretty good match. Like I said, in the end here, I don't think there was really anything overly memorable about the show in the terms of how they did everything. You just had solid work on this show, and that's just how I felt when I was watching. It was like there was a lot of solid work in this show, and I'll talk about what I thought was probably one of the better matches of the show and things that they decided to do in that match with the Kevin Owens and AJ Styles match. But that is in a couple matches here, or no, one match and one segment afterwards. But like I said, with Sami Zayn, it was good to see them have him get a victory, especially with the way they portray his character as this little goofy, or a little bit more goofy and everything in that sense, awkward at times type character on TV. It's good to see them have him come out with a victory every now and again. Up next was a promo from Jinder Mahal. He enters the building, and you have the Singh brothers bring out the carpet, the rug, and it has symbolism to everything inside of India, like higher class people in India. They don't tip. I think it's an aspect that it's not good for them to walk on common ground or anything in that sense. So you always have to have that rug around when they enter or not when they enter a building, but when they exit a car or anything in that sense. So they kind of have something like that going with them. As he starts cutting the promo, he's getting what chants all over the place. And I would say the promo itself was pretty decent. It was good and intense from all sides. In that sense, it was a decent promo from him. But the thing that you have to really think about here, and I can't believe that this happened in Chicago, of all places. You hear a portion of the fans start up a CM Punk chant, and then another like portion of the crowd, or like the majority of the crowd, just start booing it, like shutting it down right away. It's one of the first times I've seen that happen inside of like the Chicago crowds, or even in a WWE crowd in general. They don't typically shut down that chant. The other like a lot of fans don't end up shutting down that chant. Maybe it's one of those things like, Chicago. Maybe a good portion of the Chicago fans just don't want that to be associated with them anymore. That it's like, oh, we must start CM Punk chants all the time or something like that because he's from Chicago. In that sense, so they shut it down here, and that was actually kind of cool. Cool aspect to the promo as well, that you just recognize that about the fans. But the promo itself, rather basic. He was getting good heel heat throughout the promo to go along with it. And like I said, it was a decent promo. It wasn't anything spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. But like I said, Jinder Mahal has been running with this opportunity. And we'll talk about that even more a little bit later on. I know this is being released a little bit later after Backlash, so it's like I think most people should know what the results are, but I tend to keep it where I don't give it away right away, give everything away right away. So up next was the 6-woman tag: Naomi, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, going up against Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella. This tag match, quality-wise, I thought was good. I thought it was good, a good quality in the terms of the in-ring work. The storytelling, not so much inside of there. I put this as a decent match. It was fine for what it was, but it felt like it was there, and you kind of got that with the match right after Kevin Owens and AJ Styles as well. Though they did put some hype behind this match, and you kind of felt like this match was going to be something like they have a heel turn or something like that. Because like I said, going into the match, I didn't feel like there was a reason for the Welcoming Committee or Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella to lose this match. They shouldn't, because they just kind of got put together, and they shouldn't kill it off right away. Which that's not what they did. They didn't do that. In every facet, but it was just a clean victory with a tap out from Becky Lynch to the sharpshooter. No heel turn, no nothing, just match, clean victory, done. Like I said, the match itself was a rather decent one. The Ellsworth promo at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Ellsworth's good. Ellsworth's good on that microphone, and he does some good work on the microphone in terms of getting heat for himself and everything in that sense, and also putting heat towards Carmella as well. So he's definitely doing his job there, and I'm actually liking James Ellsworth in his heel role, working with Carmella at this point in time. But like I said, otherwise the match itself, like I said, quality-wise was good, everything in that sense, but you kind of expected a little bit more with this match. With just the way that they're building everything up towards it, but they kind of just went clean victory, and we're done. So this leads to what I'll say was the match of the night. By far the match of the night, because this was a really good match with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. I thought they did a phenomenal job. And I know the pun there of, AJ Styles being the phenomenal one. So we'll say pun intended for that one. Just the storytelling that they go throughout the match. You have Kevin Owens attempting to go after that knee that he had tried to injure on SmackDown like just the week before. In a few cases, he doesn't necessarily get to He doesn't get to the knee until a little bit later on in the match, but he tries a couple times at the beginning, fails at those attempts. You just had good storytelling all around. Some of those spots were really, really insane. Towards the end of the match, you have a spot where AJ Styles looked like he was about to go for a Styles Clash on, not on the apron, but he was standing on the apron and then was going to do it off the apron. And then it gets countered, and that's where I think Kevin Owens actually gets to the knee at that point, and then what was it? And then they took a suplex, or Kevin Owens took a suplex. What was supposed to land just fully on the ring apron, where he lands on the corner of the ring apron, and it just looked very it did not look like a good move to take at that point in time. It did not look comfortable at all. Though then again, the ring apron ones don't look comfortable ever in any way, shape, or form. But you could definitely tell where they were going in this match. Or you could definitely tell that they were going for a match that said this was going to be really good. Here's a little taste of what we can do. Or maybe not even a little taste, but a good chunk of what we can do. But this is not going to be the end for us. Because the ending, I thought, was really good. You have Kevin Owens picking up the victory after reversing another Styles Clash that would have been on the announce table, and he gets AJ Styles' foot caught in the monitor hole, which causes the count-out victory for Kevin Owens in that sense. And it was just a good way of doing it. You don't see them often do that, do something in that sense to try to gain the count-out victory, or anything in that sense. Like, I'm not a big fan of count-out victories, but this was a well done one, where it's like you have AJ struggling to try, like, if he was able to not be stuck in the table, he would have been able to make it back in the ring, where most times it's like they're struggling to get to the ring and they just barely miss or something in that sense. But like I said, this felt like a very good match for the first match in their feud, and it seems like they have something that they can try to top for later on, which is something that I like, and I rather did enjoy this match, and the ending actually works for me this time around. I'm not a big fan of count-out victories, but it worked on this one. So up next was, and this was the match right before the main event, this was Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Again, I had a decent match. I had this put down as a decent match. It was a very physical match, and they were trying to tell a story with this whole thing with Eric Rowan's mask as well, like kind of hyping him up, especially at the end of the match. It was like the mask, he would look at the mask and he'd get really hyped up and everything, but then get knocked back down or something in that sense. The only thing about this match is that there was no crowd heat for this one at all. It was kind of just there. It was one of those matches like, oh, you have this match, you have this really good match, and then you have this main event coming, but you have something in the middle, and like no one cares. The match itself was fine. It was a good match, a very physical match. Luke Harper going over in the end with a discus, with what looked like it was supposed to be like his discus clothesline, but I think he just like did the discus move and then kind of like just pushed Eric Rowan down. In the end, he didn't actually hit him with a clothesline or anything in that sense. But otherwise, decent match. Very hard hitting, and it was good. It was good for what it was, but you could tell no one cared. That was just how it went. So this leads us to the main event of the night: Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. And what can you say about this match? It was actually good. I actually enjoyed it. It was actually a good match between the two of them. But it just goes off on everything that they're going with here. When they push Jinder Mahal to this main event level right off the bat, on SmackDown, after losing to Mojo Rawley the week before, he gets put in the number one contendership match. He wins. The only issue I had with it was that it seemed to be really, really, really fast. That was my only issue. It's like Hasn't this guy been like a jobber for the last 10 months, or subtly a jobber for the last 10 months, and now all of a sudden he's propelled to a main event level? That was my only problem. He cut a few decent promos. I thought they were decent promos, and I'm sitting here like, it's like I have to give this, or I don't have to give this a chance, but I want to give this a chance because they're pushing somebody into a main event level that you A, didn't expect them to do, B, somebody different into the main event level as well, and it to me it worked. To me it worked in the end to a certain degree. In the match itself, I thought was good. The heat for that, you were getting the mixed reaction from the crowd for the whole Jinder Mahal and like let's go Jinder Mahal, and then like you have the Jinder sucks chance in there as well. But you could definitely tell crowd was into it throughout the entire time. Randy Orton pulling off some good maneuvers as well. Like at the beginning of the match doesn't even start. This actually works for the storyline as well. Is that, you know, Randy should have been really like just ticked off at Jinder Mahal for like everything he's done to him over the last month, costing him the House of Horrors match, stealing the WWE title at one point in time without winning to that. Also, like the attacks that he had done after the match. So, what does Randy Orton do before the match even starts? He just goes after Jinder Mahal and beats him down for a bit. And it was a really hot start, and it just kept going and going and going and going. It gets to the point in time towards the end of the match that the Singh brothers finally start getting involved in it. Like they get in the face of Randy Orton. Randy Orton beats him up a little bit. And then Jinder Mahal takes advantage, and you're thinking it's like, oh, this is gonna be the end of the match, where Jinder Mahal takes the advantage after the first one. But no, Randy Orton hits the RKO, which causes the Singh brothers to pull Jinder Mahal out of the ring, and this led to the second portion of the beatdown of the Singh brothers, where you even got it was like Randy Orton did a pair of back body drops to the announce tables to both of them. First one looked rather nasty to the first Singh brother. The second one looked like he about killed the guy. And I don't know if it was an aspect of Randy Orton lifting him too high, or one of the Singh brothers like doing a little bit of trying to do a little bit extra and didn't rotate or something like that. And it just looked like he landed on his head on the announce table. You even saw Randy Orton just give like type moments. And you see it just like strictly on camera as well, and that led to the end of the match, which was both the Singh brothers, because obviously the other one ended up being okay, taking the dueling draping DDTs, which led to the Cobra Clutch Slam, or I think they call it the Colossus, with Jinder Mahal, and he picks up the victory. And Jinder Mahal is the WWE champion. You know what? I'm going to give this a shot. Like I said, I won't say he's done the best job in the terms of his promos. I felt like they've been very basic, but the intensity that he delivers with those promos has kind of made up for it. And it's somebody different again. It's somebody different in there. Like I said, my only problem with this is that since Jinder Mahal's been back, especially on Raw's side, he's pretty much just been a jobber the entire time, and then they just propel him straight to the main event right afterwards. But though it should lead to believe, is like, I guess if they're rewarding hard work that he had done backstage, everything in that sense, so they're rewarding that. Very good for Jinder Mahal. He's taking the ball, he's running with it. He's done well. He hasn't done great, but he's done well. And, you know, the factor that he's going to be WWE champion now, for however long they decide to keep it on him, in that sense. Whether it be he loses it at Money in the Bank, or if or I think they have 2 more oh my God, SmackDown has 2 more pay-per-views before SummerSlam. I'm just thinking about that now. At that point, because I think there's Money in the Bank and there's Battleground, and then there's SummerSlam. So there's a chance he could keep it to SummerSlam, or he could just be a transitional. I don't know exactly where they're going to go with it, But he's taking that ball, he's running with it, and he's done well. Like I say, he hasn't done great yet, but he's done well. And I'm going to sit here, and even though I feel like it's been way too fast for him to be propelled to the main event, like I would have liked for a little bit more build-up of Jinder Mahal in the terms of winning matches, this, and then getting the number one contendership, and then potentially winning it. I would have preferred that a little bit more than how fast they did it, because I think it's been in like the last 6 weeks. But I'm going to sit back and I'm going to give this an opportunity. I'm going to give this a chance, and we're going to see. We're going to see how well this gets pulled off with SmackDown and everything in that sense. With Jinder Mahal as the WWE Champion. Should be an interesting one. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I don't know if I got high hopes or if I got low hopes. I kind of got middle ground because I'm sitting there like, I want to give this an opportunity. So I shouldn't really have high hopes or low hopes or anything in that sense. Like, I want to just sit back and see how I end up feeling in the end. It's like, does this work? Does it not work? We'll see in the end. So overall, Backlash I thought was actually very solid show. I thought the show itself was very solid from beginning to end. You didn't really have a match that was poor in quality, just kind of, you had like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan that was kind of just there. And the 6-woman tag match I thought was also, it was good, but I felt like they could have done so much more with it inside of that. And like I said, the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura I thought came off as a very good debut, because like you saw him sell for Dolph Ziggler, but and Ziggler in the end selling for him. You got to see a lot of what Shinsuke Nakamura can do, not everything though. And the match itself was just a good match. And then of course the kind of a shocker that they pulled the trigger on Jinder Mahal being the WWE Champion to go along with it. And we're going to see where they go with everything with this on SmackDown over the next couple months, or however long they decide to keep that title on Jinder Mahal for the time being. And we'll see where they go with everything. So that is everything from WWE Backlash. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.